Executions in Somalia are frequent, and my plan was to document. Hello, welcome to my journalism toolkit. This episode is about Qisas, a concept in Somalia's judicial system where the punishment for murder is in the hands of the victim's family. They have three choices: to execute the alleged killer, to accept blood money as compensation, or to forgive. If this is your first time, I'm Jamal Osman, and each week I bring you personal experiences behind some of my most impactful reports. Initially, I wanted to follow a prisoner in his last 7 days before execution. Executions in Somalia are frequent, and my plan was to document 7 days to go, 6 days to go, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, execution day. I can't recall exactly how I came up with this idea. Perhaps I had seen something similar in an American documentary, but I knew it would be a powerful story. However, during the development phase, I realized the emotional toll it would take on me. Spending a week with someone, learning about his childhood, meeting his family, understanding his backstory, only to then witness his execution. I wasn't sure I could handle that. I shared my concerns with my bosses and they understood completely. That's when we decided to take a different approach. Instead of focusing on one person's final days, we decided to explore life on death row. I traveled to Bosaso, a region I knew well, where my local colleagues had arranged permits and access. At the prison, I interviewed several inmates. But one story stood out, Muhammad's. He was open to speaking with us, and his case embodied the complexities of Qisas. Before filming in the prison, we visited the local gravedigger. People are fascinated by death, and gravediggers have a unique perspective on it. This particular man was calm. Witnessing execution was just another part of his job. But what struck me most was the execution site, a tree where prisoners are tied before being shot. That image stayed with me. The last thing they embrace before death is a tree, not loved ones. When shaping this story, I thought of it like a tree. Muhammad's story was the trunk, the foundation. From there, we branched out to others connected to his case: the judge, the victim's father, and Muhammad's mother. Some branches were stronger and more relevant than others, but each played a part in the story. We filmed inside the courtroom where another case was in progress. Since Muhammad had been sentenced years before, we needed footage to contextualize the judicial process. The judge, strict and no-nonsense, explained how these decisions are made. I remember laughing when a phone rang mid-session and he ordered everyone to turn off their devices. These small moments of human nature are what make a story memorable. Muhammad wasn't in prison because of the authorities. He was there because the victim's father refused to forgive him or execute him. To understand his perspective, we traveled 100 kilometers from Bosaso to meet him. He'd been a soldier, trained in Russia, tough and disciplined. Yet, despite his hardened reputation, you could see his internal conflict. He was poor, his son had been his financial support. He didn't want Muhammad executed, but he couldn't forgive him either. Blood money was his only hope for justice. It was a compromise for him. I asked the father who should pay the blood money. He replied his mother. So we went to see her. She lived in extreme poverty. When we asked her about her son's situation, she was heartbreakingly honest. If I had the money, he wouldn't be in jail for a single night, she said. She loved her son. She wanted him free, but she had nothing. At this point, the story became a triangle. Muhammad, the prisoner, unable to change his fate. His mother, desperate but powerless. The victim's father, demanding blood money but unable to afford forgiveness. We asked Muhammad's mother if she visited him often. She said she planned to see him that Friday, so we accompanied her. That visit produced some of the most powerful moments. A mother and son face to face, one behind bars, the other holding on to hope. The love, pain, and helplessness were visible in every frame. These moments don't need words, they just need a good cameraman to capture them. A story like this evolves as you go. You follow the leads, ask the right questions, and let the answers shape the narrative. It's also about capturing cultural nuances, the way people react, the unspoken emotions, the small yet powerful details. For example, when I met the victim's father, a young boy kissed my hand, and I kissed his in return. It's a common gesture in Somalia, but I hadn't noticed it at the time. It was only in the edit that my producer pointed it out, saying, "I love that moment." The edit is where magic happens. Reviewing and refining footage allows you to see the story in new ways. Key takeaways from this story. Some stories, no matter how compelling, might be too emotionally taxing to pursue in their rawest form. Know your limits. A good story often unfolds naturally as you follow its threads. Be flexible. Let the story guide you. Sometimes, the smallest details like a hand kiss or a last embrace with a tree carry the most emotional weight. Capture the small moments. If you found this episode insightful, join me on Substack to see more. This is my journalism toolkit. Thanks for watching. See you next time.